This meeting is being recorded.
Got it. Okay, so we are going to talk about everything launching our distributors. I know that when I first started, before I even signed my first distributor, I was nervous to sign my first distributor because I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. How am I supposed to help somebody and show them how to have a successful business? So one good thing to know is that you have an amazing team and uplines and tools at your fingertips that we created so that it kind of takes the thinking out of it for you for the most part. And it's just building those relationships with your distributors and really walking them through it as you go. So I'm just going to kind of share. I had another leader reach out to me and she was like, I just don't know how to like successfully help my people and all the things. So first things first, when I sign a DT, I'm excited. I'm always sending voice notes. If you guys know me, I always send voice notes, especially because a lot of my distributors I don't know right away. They're from host to post, maybe an opportunity hat, maybe a host that posted and someone else posted. And I said, hey, did you want to do this too? And they, got started. So typically I send them voice notes, builds that relationship right away. And then I say, okay, I'm excited to help you get started. I'm going to add you into my team page called Fresh. And in there is some tools that you can use. There's some trainings, there's some giveaways. It's really fun. It's just a resource, but you and I are going to be working one-on-one. So I remember when I first started, I got added to a whole bunch of team pages and was like, whoa. And I'm like, it's just, there is a tool. So I kind of just like, relieve some of that pressure to let them know that I am totally here to support them. Second is once I add them in there and I kind of set the expectation right off the bat. So I say, okay, great. I'm excited to help you get set up. You're in the team page now. So typically what this is going to look like is we're going to start with some training and we have it set up so that there's 5 simple steps a day to walk through. And each of those steps take around 10 minutes, depending on your level of technology. But literally anyone can do this. So I'm reassuring them that even if they're new and they don't know what they're doing, or if they want to go quickly, they can. So, and I say it's flexible. You can fit it in through your day, or you can sit down and you can just get it all done at once, and we're going to work through it together. And I say, do you have an Apple or an Android? That we just cut to the chase and we dive right into boards. So once they are tell me what they're using, I have to update. I was just looking, I was like, you know what? I don't have this anywhere easy access. And my boards is still loading. So I'm going to try to show you on my phone. If you guys don't have this board, it says training my new distributors in 30 days. So what in here, it says like day number 1, yeah, board's just closed. So I don't know if something's going on, but in here it says, add them into the team page. Step 1, add them into board. Step 2. So it's like a checklist for you to do as they're doing their checklist through boards. So once I say, do you have an Apple or an Android? They tell me Apple. I say, okay, great. Here's a link. It's an app that we use for our training. Go ahead and install it. Once you've installed it, sign in with your normal email and create your own password and message me signed in with the email that you used. And then I can sync the training to you. So, and once that's done, you guys, I make sure that I'm checking back. If they don't go and do it right away, like I'm giving them a window and I'm like, hey, how did it go with the website? Did you need any help? I want to let them know that there's like a pace. You have to kind of set the pace and set the standard right out of the gate. You can't wait until the next day and then check back and you're already behind. So the coaching starts, like we think that the signing of the distributor is where, okay, we signed them up, but it still really does continue on through that after. So when they get into boards, I say, okay, great. I'm going to send you a screen share. I'm going to write this note down, screen share about boards, because I need to add that into the boards so that you guys have it. Because I know what I'm doing when I screen share for you. Like making notes about what I need to add. Okay. So I send them a screen share. and I say, this is what boards look like your first days of training. And I open it up and I say, the first week is what we're going to focus on, just the basics and customers. I want to help you get your first $60 bonus. Like I said, each day, and I open up day number 1. I say, there's 5 simple steps in here. And this is where I think lots of people, shift, because there's 2 different types of people out there. Just like when we offer a customer and we say, do you want me to walk you through ordering on your website, or do you want me to set it up for you? Most of the time people will be like, oh, can you set it up for me? It kind of shows you right off the bat what kind of distributor, what kind of speed they're going to set for themselves. And I say, do you want to walk through the steps by yourself, or do you want me to, we can do it together one-on-one? And for the most part, people say, just one at a time. So I'm like, perfect. Here's the step. And I send it to them and I say, if you need to go back and watch it, like re-follow the steps in board to see where you're at, then you can. And so I give it to them. Again, you guys, I'm kind of setting that standard. I say, here's the step, message me done once you've done it. Or if you need help, send me a screenshot of where you're at. And I tell them there's going to be lots of screenshots. So it's totally okay. There's no silly questions. We all start at the beginning when we're learning. And just let them know that it's okay if they don't know how to do it. So once we kind of start walking through those steps, one thing I want to let you know is sometimes people don't complete all the steps in a day. We're all busy and things like that. So a lot of distributors can feel frustrated if their DTs aren't doing all the things. Hi. And sometimes they take off and they're like, I'm already done steps 1 through 4 or something. Pardon me. Once we are getting close to the end of the day, I say, okay, great. You did an awesome job. I always give them encouragement. And, I'm super proud of you for doing those steps today. And I say, I would love to hop on a call with you so that you can ask me any questions. You can let me know how much you want to make, and we can set a goal to hit that income. When are you free, today or tomorrow? And when I was talking to a couple leaders, she's like, I always ask them what's good, when's good for them, and they never tell me. And then it's like a week later, and I'm like, no, you are the boss. You're not the boss, but you're the coach. So you have to coach them in the right direction. And I always say, when works for you, today or tomorrow? So they get to choose, essentially. They feel in control. So they'll say tomorrow. Okay, great. Before 4 or like after 7, which one works better for you? Again, they feel in control. They get to choose. And then they say 7 o'clock. I say, okay, great. If you want to set your alarm for that, we'll reconnect then. I'll set my alarm too. I'm so excited for us to chat. And that's essentially it. I want to let you guys know about how to have your first call when you're talking to people. So when my alarm goes off, I do set an alarm and I will message them, say, hey, we're still good to chat in 10 minutes, just to check in with them. Not everybody does. So just know that everyone's different. Hopefully, they say, yeah, we're ready. And I say, okay, great. Do you want to chat over Zoom or do you want to chat over Facebook Messenger? And again, still giving them those options. If I can get them on face-to-face. So I can't remember the percentage, and it's a big one. It's a doozy. It's like 60% more. You will retain your distributors 60% more if you get them on a call within the first 24 to 48 hours. Normally it's because we don't owe anyone any obligation. We haven't officially started anything yet. So when you can get them in person and then you can chat with them, it just builds that connection. 60% of your distributors will stick around more. It's worth that call. And I still get nervous when I call people. I'm like a keyboard warrior introvert behind the scenes, but when I have to get someone on a phone call or a video call, you'd think that I'd be courageous, but it's just like one of those, I don't know what it is. It's just a feeling that we all get. You got to push through it. Be brave, because what you're showing them is that they're going to be brave too when they sign their first distributor. So you're really setting that expectation, that tone. Okay. And I remember in the beginning, I was like, I'm not confident. You have to be courageous to build that confidence. So be courageous. So when you're talking to them on their call, And I remember my first couple months were doozies, you guys. I talk when I'm nervous and I talk a lot. So I would just talk and talk and talk. And it really is, you have to take the time to kind of ask them about them and listen. And I still catch myself all the time not listening. So if you're a distributor side by me, I'm sorry. I'm just like that. Okay. So if you're like, okay, well, I don't know what to say to them on one of these calls. If they're new, if you go into our fresh team page under the guides, and again, you guys, I have to add this into how to train your distributor in your first 30 days. But when you go into guides and you scroll down to guide number 14, ranking up and training new distributors. If you guys didn't know, there's a guide there. So when you open it up, it says leadership tips, things that you can say, etc. And then right underneath that, it says your first coaching call. And in the comments right down here, it kind of says, okay, when you start talking to them on the phone, say, okay, great, it's great to connect. Usually I say, what questions do you have for me? Tell me a little bit about you. And I kind of just let them start talking because they'll just like open up. For the most part, I'm looking to do this because of X, Y, Z. Usually they'll say, I don't have any questions, and they'll remember after because they're put on the spot. Sorry, just 1 second. Yes, Mackenzie. And the reason why I want them to tell me about them is usually their why is in there somewhere. So when I'm talking to someone and I say, love that, find something to relate with them, just like you're having a coffee date with a friend. And then I say, okay, so how much do you want to make? So you're not working right now. Maybe they got laid off. Maybe they're on maternity leave, whatever the reason. I say, okay, good to know. How much are you looking to make per month? And if they're like, I don't know, I say, I want you to think about it so that we can set a goal towards that amount of income. So if they're like, $500 would be really nice. Normally say, okay, great. So like, why would that $500 be great? When do you want to buy? Like setting a timeline. And again, they're kind of telling you their why. So when they come to a point where they're like, oh, I really want this because I just want to pay some extra bills. I'm like, well, what's it going to do for you when you pay your extra bills? And maybe they'll say, I just want to be able to be at home with my family. I just want to be able to support my husband. Those are all things that you can, you're building that relationship with. Okay, so I'm going to read this out. And typically I say, okay, great. The different ways that we make money are through commissions and bonuses. We're going to work on your first customer bonus. Say they want to make an extra $1,000 a month. I'm realistic with those expectations. And I tell them, hey, how much time do you have? Because if they say an hour a day, I'm like, usually an hour a day in the beginning will pay you a couple $100s a month if you're consistent. So you really set the speed for how much that you want to earn. And as much as you want to put into it, you can grow really fast. So I kind of let them know that it's up to them. If they're like, oh, I want to make $5,000 a month and I have like 45 minutes a day, I'm like, it'll take us a while to build up to that if that's the time that you have. Back in the day, I used to be like, oh yeah, we can totally do it. But you have to be realistic or else people are like, I only made a $27 paycheck and I'm quitting, So good to let them know how much income that they want to make in their schedule. And typically I say when we're doing our training, the first week is focused on customers, your first $60 bonus. Your second week is focused on distributors. So obviously we can make the other $130 bonus. And your third week is getting into like leadership and growing your rank so that you can obviously maximize the amount of income that you want to make. And we just take it 1 week. We just take it one day at a time. And then I say, like, do you have any other questions for me? So after the call, when we're about to end the call, I let them know, because they're going to experience feelings. Who started this business and they were nervous as heck. to do anything. So I let them know and say, you know, these first couple of weeks, it's going to be a push. Just like if we would start a normal job, it might feel overwhelming. I expect you not to know anything and be like, oh my gosh, just know that I'm here to support you. So I've done this before. I've walked through what you're walking through, and ask me all the questions. Like, feel free to like message me lots and lots. I know that we're making progress that way. And it's going to seem like a bit of a push, but I promise on the other side that it's worth it. So I kind of just let them know that they're going to be feeling things and they have to just push through. And then for myself, you guys, I have a large team. So I want them to know that I'm not going to come and like beg them to work. They are their own boss. I expect them to message me in the morning. So normally I say, you know, I have a really large team and I work my own business. So I'm going to leave it up to you to message me each morning, to reach out, to let me know where you're at and or that you're ready. And then I can help you again, start on those steps, and we can just walk through them through the day. So that was something that I never used to do. And then I would be in that person's inbox. Yes, I do check in if they're working. Yeah. And so I had this happen with one of my other DTs. She's like, we just never connect. We never connect at the same time. So I told her, I was like, you have to ask them what their schedule is like. When we talk, tell me a little bit about you. And they say, I'm not working right now. Or they say, I work night shift. You kind of have to take note of that so that you, when you know that you can reach out and you guys can work one-on-one together. That's just a little side note. Okay. So I think that's it for the call. Do you guys have any questions about the call? So once we set those goals and they know their expectations, it really is a lot of hand holding. And this is where there can be a really big gray area, because there's a lot of different personality types out there. Some people are like yellow and they're introverted and they're nervous, like most of us, almost all of us. There's some people that are green personalities. They're going to ask you a million questions and it might not seem like they're taking a lot of steps, but they're actually like getting the knowledge that they know first before they go. Normally green personalities are very loyal. So like if you can put the time and invest into them and answer their questions, and they're learning and they're building their confidence, they're going to stay around. They're going to stick around for a long time. I'm a green personality. For yellows, you really do have to give them that extra support. You know, you're doing an awesome job. They put up a post, go and like on it, go and comment on it. Give them a lot of support. If they do something for the first time, go and give them a shout out in the team page. The more that you can give them support and just be like, I'm super proud of you, you're doing awesome, you know, keep it up, get excited for them. They're just going to keep, you know, they're going to feel that excitement instead of feeling the fear. As far as adding them into team chats, I wanted to talk about this really quick. Typically, I don't add my distributors to any chats until they're through like their first 3 days of training-ish, 3 to 5 days, depending on their speed. And if they sign a customer. So you can always incentivize your people too and say, okay, we're working on the first day. When you get to the second day, be like, oh my gosh, one more day and I'm going to add you into our team's group chat and you can have the extra support in there. So if I'm not available to answer your questions, there's some other leaders in there and it's just like fun. We can cheer each other on. So that's like a second little goal that they know that they can push towards. They're like, oh my gosh, I get to get into like the team chat. You know what I mean? I don't add them into it right away because a lot of people are like, whoa, I'm like overwhelmed. There's so much stuff going on. So I give them that little bit of space. Sometimes it can take people a week to finish their first 3 days. So I know that I don't want to add them into a chat until they're, you know, they have the basics down. What else? So you kind of know where someone's at, like I said, in their first week. If they're regularly posting, if they're getting up their story, if they're sending their messages for host to post. And then you have to check in with them and say, hey, you know, I commented on your post. You have to go and look. Oh, you got a comment on there. Did you reach out to that person? Do you want me to help do you want me to help you? We can send a message together. And same with their follow-ups. Like, okay, great, you've got your list. In that how to train your distributor in 30 days, it's like check in with them to make sure that they have created their follow-up list, and then work with them on following up with their people, because on day number 4, they're at the follow-up step. So it's great for you to check in to know kind of where they're at. Yeah, so typically for my distributors, they will sign their first customer their first week. Sometimes their second, sometimes their third, sometimes people really take off. I think the big step is the distributor. So once you get into that second week, again, it's like a whole brand new push. And my training is different than Shannon's training, and Shannon's probably is different than Jackie Deering's training. I know that Katie Bevington actually has like a chat bot that gives one step at a time, and you like click once you've done it, and it like prompts you to do the next task, which I'm working on next month. So I'm excited to do that for our team. But I think the big thing is just walking them through it step by step, and just helping them try to be consistent. Now, once they get their 4 and they're posting about distributors and they're sending their distributor messages, you really just have to reiterate signing that DT. Like the shift comes from the customers right into distributors, and it's just DTs until they get their 1. As much as you can. Obviously they're getting up post to post to get more customers, but you do want to kind of try to shift to distributors. Once they sign their DT, if you are someone who's new, there is no shame in getting into a 3-way chat with your enroller. If you don't know what you're doing and it's your very first distributor and you're like, can you help show me how to, train my first distributor? So they are not going to know how to train their first DT. So that's, again, another leadership step for you. You have to coach them through them coaching their first, and sometimes their second, and sometimes their third. Again, everybody's different. First goal is customer, then distributor. Once they get their 4 and 1, it used to be where I would see a lot of people's businesses fall apart is they would help to get their 4 and 1 done, and they would get their bonus, and then they would stop. Typically, when I help them get their first distributor, I'm like, okay, 1 more DT and you're boxed for executive. You are going to be boxed for your first promotion. So again, it kind of gives them that second vision, cast that second vision for that next goal. And say you completed your 4 and a friend, we're going to complete our 4 and a friend again. Hopefully they did that in their first couple weeks. Maybe they completed that after their first month. And you say, okay, now that's a $200 bonus, but hopefully they get their $200 bonus. And I would recommend just trying to help them reach that goal as soon as you can. Making sure that you're trying to help them do it in their second month. So in an ideal world, a lot of people can achieve Ruby in their first 90 days. 4 and a friend once a month is a really realistic goal. Some people can get it done faster than that. Majority of people don't. So you just have to know, you just have to let them know that it's not an instant overnight success, but you guys are going to be building towards that income. And what was the other thing I was going to say? For distributors that don't work, because I know that my first couple of distributors might have gotten a customer or 2, and then it was me messaging them and messaging them and messaging them and being like, come on. If you find yourself doing that, Katie Bevington, she's a top 10 income earner. And I know that it's a little bit of tough love, and it's like, hey, I don't want to bug you. I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste mine if you're not ready. Is everything going okay? You kind of just have to ask them, are you not ready right now? Or do you just have something going on? Let me know, let me know if you have any questions, how things are going. Odds are a couple of things are happening. 1, they feel discouraged because they're not making a ton of traction. If they're not making a ton of traction. 2, they might be feeling overwhelmed. 3, they just lost that excitement or something like that. And our job is to not drag people into the business, but to meet them where they're at and walk through it. Some people are slow. I didn't sign my first distributor until I was 4 months almost my 5th month into the business. So as long as people are showing up and like actively working, you have to remember that you are still enrolling and you have to keep on signing distributors, because some people won't. I would say, I was giving a really realistic number to a DT. And I was like, for every 10 distributors that you sign, 5 of them won't do anything. So even if you've signed 5 distributors and you're like, none of them are doing anything, I don't want to say that that's normal. Statistically, online businesses are different. The motivation from people nowadays is different. They just don't have the drive and they don't have the work ethic that they used to. I'm older, so I know, a lot of people think they can come online and make $1 million right after that, and then they don't. They're like, So out of the 10, 5 of them won't work. Out of the last 5, I would say 2 of them will work well and the other 3 will be slow. And again, you just have to work with the ones that are working and continue to enroll and grow your business. Next month, there's going to be some really cool things happening that's going to help you with that. It's going to help you with that. So I'm excited. And yep, I would say cast the vision for executive. As soon as they get that next distributor, and you can say 1 more DT and you'll be boxed for Ruby. And when they're distributor, remember, you have to coach them through coaching their DTs. Same thing. As soon as their one distributor signs a DT, go into the team page, give them a shout out, get them shouting out their people. You can go and give them a shout out if you want to as well and say, okay, now tell your newbie that they need 1 more distributor and they'll be set for their next promotion executive. And it really just is like everyone duplicating the same thing as much as possible. And keeping in mind, there's lots of different personalities and speeds out there. Just trying to think if there's anything else, because I didn't finish writing my notes before we hopped on here. Does anyone have questions about where they have been stuck with signing their distributors or coaching their distributors, anything like that? Just want to see if my boards are working yet. Boards. And the wheel's just spinning and spinning. And if you're needing any other help, if you're in the Go-Getter board and you scroll down to the bottom, it says training videos right down here. And in here, there is launching your how-to, and then right beside it says launching your business. And there are how to launch your distributor videos or videos that your new distributors can watch on how to launch their business too. So I want you guys to know there's tons of resources out there. And if they're curious about different ways to train, you can direct them in here. There's videos on posting. There's videos on host to post. There's videos on signing customers, signing distributors, going Emerald, going Ruby, time management, and motivation. And the last thing that I want to end on is self-development. A lot of us get super stuck mentally. I know for me, it was confidence. I just didn't feel confidence. I was freaking terrified. I was terrified to add. I was terrified to message. I was terrified to post. So it really is just invoking that confidence in them, hand-holding, giving that encouragement, letting them know they're doing well, giving them those shout-outs, and then recommending self-development or getting them on a podcast. Hey, I'm listening to this. Usually I try to post something in our push chat each day that is motivation or inspiration. I know that I read. And so if you are in a leadership position and you're feeling stuck with your leadership, I want to give you some book recommendations. One is, you guys, once I reached Ruby, which was 9 months into my business, by the way. So if you're feeling stuck, don't give up. You never know. I went Ruby, I sat there for a while, and then, as soon as I went Diamond, in the transition between Ruby and Diamond, I was feeling so stuck. I was like, I'm just not getting anywhere. I'm doing the things and trying to lead. It's not happening. And then someone was like, well, what are you doing for leadership self-development? And I was like, I don't know. I have no idea. So John Maxwell, what is it called? Developing the Leader Within. That's a really good book. Or you can listen to it on Audible. I listen to it in the car while I drive and all the things. Born to Lead by Brené Brown. Built to Last by, can't remember his name. Built to Last. And then How Successful People Lead. I think that's also John Maxwell. So anything John Maxwell, he's like a leader guru. And it just gives you so many insights on like how to talk to people, how to build relationships, how to encourage people, how to motivate them to like follow you, to do things and all that. So there's lots of growth to leadership, and you have to be willing to grow if you want your team to grow. And then obviously that reflects through them and you help them to grow as well. And once they do, you guys, it's such an amazing feeling. Once you successfully can try to launch someone, it doesn't happen for everyone. So just give yourself that grace and just to continue to enroll. So we've been on here for 36 minutes. If you guys have any questions for me? Jen's just smiling. She's like, no, I'm okay. All right, ladies. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to pop on. I will post this recording on my YouTube, and I'm going to leave it public, I think. So you can go and share it with your teams and have access to it too. If you don't have that board on training your distributor in their first 30 days, let me know and I can send you that link. And next month, there's going to be a lot of training revamps and things like that. So there's going to be more tools coming for you guys to use too. Anyways, thank you for taking the time to come and hop on. You ladies have a good night, and I'll see you later.